We're doing a fourth episode. Let's get it! Oh, thank you guys for 1,000 views on the third episode. Really appreciate it. Alright, I'll jump into episode 4. Number 1. Ryan was built on Sodor in 1976, based on the Great Northern Railway's N2 design. The main difference is being a shorter wheelbase and reduced weight so he can operate on the coastal run, or Arthur's branch line. And during his test runs, Ryan fell off a nearby pier having suffering a brake failure. He was eventually fished out, and Arthur, who just happened to be nearby, got a pretty good laugh out of it. And Ryan now works with Arthur on the Hard branch line, sporting a unique purple livery. Number 2. Hero was built in Japan in 1935 by the Japanese National Railway, and he was quickly shipped to the United States pretty much right off the bat. He bounced around several railroads and eventually ended up wearing several liveries up until 1955 when he was withdrawn from service and then placed on a siding awaiting the cutter's torch. He didn't sit around for long, thankfully, as he was quickly purchased by a railtoy company named Hiroshi Railtours. And Hero ended up being one of the first engines of the company and was repainted into one of the most vibrant liveries you could possibly see for an engine of his size. Hero worked for the company for several years and was one of the most popular engines of the entire fleet. Hero made really good friends with lots of engines in his ranks, and he enjoyed his time in the United States under this company. But the fun didn't last long, unfortunately, as in 1972, Hiroshi Railtours went bankrupt, and all of the engines were put on auction following this. But Hero once again cheated death as he was quickly purchased and shipped to Sodor. Where on Sodor, I will explore in another video. Number 3. Top Hat, yes, that Top Hat, was an 042 Camelback locomotive built in 1906 by the Big City Railroad. While being mostly a shunter engine, he was interestingly given mostly non-shunter services and often did some passenger work. This would mean that he would wear the Big City Railroad's yellow passenger livery, as he would do majority passenger work. That wasn't the only type of work he would do, as whenever was needed, he had to do garbage strange. Needless to say, he wasn't happy having to deal with everyone else's garbage, you know? Number 4. Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand all worked under the Big City Logging Railroad, which is a subsidiary of the BZRR. Bash and Dash were the first to be built in 1899 as twins, and Ferdinand would arrive in 1903, being an 040 Camelback. The liveries are rather interesting, yet each of them all wore slightly different variants of the liveries from each other. Bash and Dash just having complete inverses of each other's liveries. Number 5. In this alternate universe, Stanley looks like this, and arrived on Sodor in 1970 to help with a major restoration and construction project in the heart of Sodor. What this project was, I will explore in another video. Number 6. In 1948, the 3 tram engines that were previously the runners of the Arlesdale tramway since 1923 were relocated to other parts of Sodor and replaced with an LNER L1 tank engine. This L1 was fitted with a front cowcatcher and stationed at Arlesdale End. And for many years, this L1 will be the only operator of this tramway. That was until 1965 when it was withdrawn from service and placed in a shed at Arlesdale End. And shortly after, the line will close down the same year. This closure was pretty brief, as only a few years later, in 1968, the Northwestern Railway would separate from British Railway. When the news came out that they were saved, the L1's crew quickly flung the doors open and danced around him in joy as they began firing him up for service once again. The L1 was still in operational condition, so it basically was right off the bat put into working service and had the tramway restored. To heavy fanfare, the Arlesdale tramway would reopen with the L1 as its operator. See you guys in the next one.